Okay, so here's the scene. This is a 2014 Dodge Grand Caravan. It's got the 3.6 liter engine in it, and this is the procedure to remove the starter. It looks like it's pretty tough, but it's not once you get this motor mount out of your way, the front motor mount. Now, these bolts that are holding the motor mount in are 16 millimeter, or you can use a 5/8 standard to pull those out. There's going to be two up under this cross member here, and then there's two on this side of the cross member, 1, 2, and then there's another one between the catalytic converter and the motor mount. And once you remove those, you want to have a wood block up under your oil pan, jack up the engine, the motor mount will become free to move, and this is how you maneuver it out. You just bag it over from the bottom and twist it where this piece comes down between the transmission and the engine, and it'll come out nice and smooth. And once you have it out, in order to remove the starter, you have to remove the positive cable that's running to the starter. It's so short you can't pull the starter out of the position where it's still connected. So you're gonna have to remove this positive wire running to the starter right close to the catalytic converter. If I'm not mistaken, it was a 13 millimeter, or you could use a 1/2 inch standard. And I just used a ratchet wrench, open on one end, ratchet wrench on the other. It's got the bend in it. It gets perfect in there to remove that nut off of that starter so you can take the cable loose. Once you have the cable loose, you can leave the remote wire to the starter connected while you remove it. And now I'll show you how to remove the starter out from behind the catalytic converter. And you would just push the starter out of position after removing the two 15 millimeter studs from here. 15 millimeter bolts. You remove those, just push the starter back far as you can behind the catalytic converter and bring the nose cone out, and you'll have the starter in your hand. You can access the remote wire right here. Just disconnect it, reconnect it, install in the opposite manner. Once you get the nose cone in, you know you pretty much solid in there. You can go ahead and put in your 15 millimeter bolts to secure the starter, because you're going to want it secured when you put the power wire back onto the starter and tighten up that nut. You're going to want the starter secured. So that's the procedure to remove the starter, and you just install it in the reverse order.